Alright, what is up guys? Welcome back to another Path of Exile 2 video here. We're taking on Doriani and Cruel, and then we're going to get into maps. First off, if you don't mind hitting that subscribe button, really appreciate it. Helps me out. We're about to hit 1,400 subs, so next we're going to go for 1,500.
I'm not here for you.
Simple. Nothing can stand against us.
You can see the damage is pretty decent.
Sacrifice is the only path to survival.
It's kind of hard to know how much they've like nerfed the bosses versus how strong the build is.
This ends now. I can't give up. I must save my people.
You know why we're here! It happened! It cannot be stopped!
No, I will succeed. There is no escape.
Face me with your true might. I'm not ready.
The end of the world is nigh. One death is nothing for the greater good. Full power.
Oh, okay, that didn't hurt very much.
Let me show you what true intellect looks like. Let's see you survive this. The destruction of that water will be repaid 1,000-fold. Nothing will stand in my way. Fatal ambition. This is not over yet.
Uh-oh. I thought I wasn't going to make it out in time there.
One death is nothing for the greater good. Full power. The destruction of Azzoatl will be repaid 1,000-fold. Let's see you survive this.
I feel like that moves a lot slower than it used to be.
I need more time.
You leave me no choice. Now you're within my grasp. I've had enough of you. No! Do not fail me. Not now.
Alright, so that is the end of the campaign finally. We're about to go into maps. Also, Last Epoch Season 2 comes out tomorrow. I'm like seriously considering
History is already
either
written.
playing it or like splitting my time.
Or
Biggest change so far for the build is I picked up a Hand of Wisdom in action. I know it got nerfed, but it's still like ridiculously strong. Just look at my like damage. So my main damage ability here is Ice Strike. Just look at, it's like a 25%, like at least currently, more damage. So it just really helped me like breeze through the campaign. And I was lucky enough to get like a divine drop in early and cruel, I want to say. Either late in normal or early in cruel, so I was able to pick up this one with cold penetration on it, which again like helps out my build. I haven't socketed it yet, but leaning towards probably socketing fire resistance just because of like what my build is. Again, like we're playing the Smith of Kitava. I'm kind of thinking Temper Weapon is just not that good. Like, even with it being 12 empowered attacks, maybe if you were like a super slow attacking character, it would be better. But I just burned through it so quickly, it's just having to constantly stop and redo it. It doesn't really affect my clear time enough. Like, I think it might actually slow me down. I think the biggest thing Smith of Kitava has going for it is literally just Coal Stoker and Forged in Flame. And I was actually thinking about it, so like plus 15 fire resist doesn't seem that impressive when you're thinking of PoE 1, like in terms of PoE 1, because you could very easily pick up like resistance on the passive tree. However, in PoE 2, 15% fire resistance, like I don't think you can get anywhere like a total of 15% fire resistance out of the entire passive tree. The only nodes that I know of that give you like elemental resistance is, I want to say like this one, all natural. So maybe you can get like and then Prism Guard and unnatural resilience. So you can get a total, as far as I know, correct me if I'm wrong, those are the only resistance nodes that I'm aware of, and that's just a total of like 15% all resist. So when you put that in perspective, like basically with Coal Stoker and these two nodes, you get 30% fire resist and 15% cold and lightning resist. So that's actually pretty strong. And then in terms of like how easy it makes you your gearing options, like that was one of my favorite things about Chieftain in PoE 1, was just how like the passive tree made your gearing like really easily, because you just really had to stack like fire resist basically and then get some chaos resist, and then you could do whatever else you wanted for like gear. The only thing that I think is unfortunate is like this takes 4 points, and so then if you want to like use that in conjunction with the body armor thing, you're only able to get 4 of these, and I don't think that like 4 of these really is gonna outclass like a good chest piece, you know, the majority of the time. And again, in order to do that, you need to have 8 ascendancies, so you're gonna be like very high level, have a very strong character, fairly strong character at that point to get your 8th ascendancy. So by that point in time, like the body armor thing is probably not even very beneficial like to you. The only way I could see this really being sort of useful is if you have like all 6 to 8 points invested in this, and then it's just kind of like boring as far as like ascendancies go. Like you're not doing anything unique or special there, you're just basically picking up like passive stats, and most of the other ascendancies don't really seem to like function like that, like so far. Like they definitely usually have some sort of active abilities, or they're geared towards like a certain type of character. Like the Titan, for example, is definitely geared towards like an armor life, slam with your ancestral boost every other attack. So like armor life, strength stacking, slamming, etc. So like this character, I just don't really know what it's like supposed to be geared towards. Like you've got very weird things up here, like manifest weapon. I just don't really know like what situation it's going to be good in, because the problem there, unless you're like stacking strength, it's not getting any additional damage. Like you can get an extra attack speed on it with agility, but it doesn't get any boosts as far as I know from like anything outside of like companion damage and maybe like minion damage. And it's kind of weird because some of the recommended skills for it you can't actually use, because it's like an invulnerable minion, so it'll recommend certain support gems that you can't actually socket into it, which is just kind of like GGG should probably fix that, because it's kind of silly, to be honest. So I've also found a couple other uniques. Unfortunately, they're like fairly expensive, but there is a unique amulet called like the Eye of Aziz or something along those lines. Beacon of Aziz, Aziz, Azis. It's a solar amulet, so it gives you, a decent amount of spirit. It gives you like 40 to 45 spirit, depending on the intrinsic like roll on the amulet. But it also gives you critical hits, ignore monster resistances. So I'm thinking I'm gonna pick that up. The problem is it's like another divine, and when I do, I don't think I'll need these anymore. So I'll probably change up the build a little bit, spec out of those, and then just head down here and pick up like all these crit nodes, because basically like you can scale all of your damage off crit, ignore resistances, and just crit everything. Right now I'm picking up these because these attack damage nodes, I didn't realize this, but attack damage nodes are actually basically affect all of your damage. Anything that is like based off of your attack damage, even if the gem doesn't actually say that it's an attack, so like freezing mark, for example, it increases the damage on it, even though this is not listed. Oh, excuse me, it is listed as an attack. Okay, silly me. Anyways, maybe it was Shattering Palm. Okay, yeah, Shattering Palm. So Shattering Palm does not have... Oh my gosh. Okay, never mind. Now I'm just confusing myself. I didn't read all these tags. So it's weird because it says attack here, but it doesn't have an attack tag here. And then this is a spell, but it has the attack tag down here. So that's kind of interesting. I didn't notice that one below. One that is kind of interesting though is like, so it does affect Herald of Ice. It does affect Temper Weapon. It does affect Charge Staff. It affects Tempest Bell. It basically affects every ability. It also affects Wind Dancer because it does have that attack tag. So basically it is like a complete, huge... Once I pick all these up, it's almost not quite going to double my damage, but this is 100% total increased attack for very, like, low investment. And it's right along a path that I'm already, like, wanting to go because I want to pick these here. And so it's just very efficient increase to damage. And I think any character that basically is using like more than one damage type, because the thing is with converted damage and like added damage and all that different stuff, like it functions differently in PoE 2 than PoE 1. So you have to like scale your damage differently, because in PoE 1, if it was like physical to fire, you could scale the physical or the fire portion of it and still like get full benefit from basically like from the original damage type. So if I have like, let's say 50% physical to fire conversion, it's going to basically let you scale all that fire damage. You're better scaling the fire damage with physical damage increases, versus like, because that's going to scale both aspects of it. It's going to scale the half that's physical and the half that's fire. If you just take fire increased nodes, it's only going to scale the half that's fire, but not the half that's physical. In PoE 2, it works basically the opposite of PoE 1. So like if you have 50% physical to fire, if you want to scale the physical damage, it's not going to increase the fire. And if you're, scaling the fire damage, again, it's not going to increase the physical. So a way you can kind of get around that is if it's an attack and you get increased attack damage, that's going to scale both aspects of it. Same thing with like something like this, where it's an increased damage with hits. Or there's just like all damage nodes. Crit is like an all damage multiplier, because it's not just scaling one portion of the damage. Any extra damage is good. Extra damage is always good. The only one I'm not 100% sure on is this extra physical as damage as fire. I'm kind of staying away from that because I just don't know how it's going to interact with like my current build, and it's, you know, kind of out of the way. There is a node up here like of all damage and fire resist. Okay, so you can get some fire resist on the tree. So like this is a pretty solid node. It's just got quite a bit of like investment. So this would be something that, you know, might be good to anoint onto your amulet. The only problem is that I also want to get this, and so that would you know, make me kind of conflicted on which one I want to choose, because that is going to really, I think, help scale my all resist. But that's also just a very juicy node. Like they would work very well in conjunction with each other. I was planning on coming up to this node already, so I mean it'd only be another 2, 3, 4. It'd be another like 6 points. I just don't know if that, like, that's, as you progress later into the game, like a fairly significant investment. But I am looking at probably potentially, like, I may spec out of these. I haven't decided yet. Probably spec out of this, and that'll help me like pick these up when I'm ready to. After I get these, I'm not entirely sure if I want to go for like, there's like an attack speed based off Dex node, which would like stack, which would work well with my what do you call it, my Hand of Wisdom and Action. So like that might not be bad, like some attack speed. I'm just basically building like a glass cannon. If I come up here like this, those would be good. The only problem is like, you know, how I want to go about, like, if I want to come down here and pick these up, it's just a pretty big investment to get down there. So we'll have to see. We'll see how survivable the character is as I progress through maps. Once I actually get some like decent, like I picked this up for an Exalt, and it's basically like my only defense. I'll just show you the gear so right now, so you have kind of an idea what we're working with. So pretty like basic stuff. This I've used for pretty much my entire playthrough. I picked this up, I think, for an Exalt, just because I needed an extra skill slot. I found this, got this for an Exalt, bought this for a Divine, found this or bought it off of the, I think I found this, or I bought it off a shop. I probably found it though. This I think I bought for an Exalt just because I wanted some move speed boots. So I learned my lesson the last time, and I think the first playthrough it was like a little bit more gear scarcity, and it felt like I was getting a lot more Exalts, so I was like actually like crafting my stuff because a lot of the stuff just didn't like exist. So and enjoying, like, you know, the new crafting system, experimenting with it. So I don't really have any regrets with that, but I did come to find, like, as I got further into the game, that it was just significantly cheaper to buy an upgrade with like one Exalt versus trying to actually craft something and using like multiple currencies, because Alch orbs are very very useful and worth more than Exalts. You know, just burning through like two to three Exalts to like hope you get good modifiers, just it was not efficient. So I just started buying the currency, or buying the gear that I wanted.
Now then, it is time we departed. Activate the portal. We will see about it.
Oh no! It's the end of the world. But yeah, so if you're enjoying the builds, like, please hit that subscribe button. Really appreciate it. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. And remember to give them the D.